Welcome to the first of our World Cup previews. Today we're tackling Group A, where you'll find hosts and favourite Brazil, and Group B, a tasty one featuring champion Spain and 2010 runners-up Holland. With me to talk through the dynamics is betting analyst Nigel Seeley. Nigel, thanks very much for coming in once again. Let's start with Group A, Brazil, Mexico, Croatia and Cameroon. Brazil, Phil Scolari building up a tough-to-beat Brazilian side, but with players so familiar to the opposition these days, it's hardly a vintage team and few true superstars. Neymar, the big name, but he hasn't really turned it on for Barcelona yet.
I think he's probably one of the most overrated football players in world football, so cue him to have a storming tournament. Whenever I see him, I think he's very average. I mean, he's got all the tricks, but very rarely delivers. Like Messi and Ronaldo, they're consistently so good. And the expectation on the Brazilian side is the big thing. If they can deal with that, then they're going to go far in the competition. But can they deal with it? The team is very workmanlike. It's not like Brazilian teams of the past where they've got flair players. They're a very organised side. Very hard to beat, don't concede many goals, which is very unlike Brazilian side. They're usually involved in high-scoring games. I don't think that side will do that. The pressure is what they're going to have to deal with. Bookies make them 1-66 to qualify from this group, around about that kind of price. So it shows you how sort of one-sided this draw is. I think for all the other teams, it's about who's going to come second. I do think Brazil will win it, but at 1-4, they're no value whatsoever. I don't think they're going to win it in a style and a swagger that we expect to see, but I do think they'll win the group. OK. Well, let's talk about the opposition then. Croatia, they've got some cracking players, the likes of Luka Modric and Mario Mandzukic. Could they spring a surprise? I think the first game they could get something against Brazil. I don't think they'll win it, but I think they'll be very, very tight. First games in World Cups are usually notoriously tight, so I don't think Brazil are going to win one by 3 or 4-0. I think 1-0 win will be good enough for Brazil. The key game for them is Mexico, and the whole theme when we're going to be talking about these groups, it's going to be about who deals with the conditions the best, and I think Mexico will be the team that can deal with the conditions best. So I think Croatia may be a good bet to have in the first game, maybe not on the handicap or on the spread sell Brazil, but going through, no, I don't think they will go through. But you're thinking therefore Mexico will deal better with the conditions? Is that their best hope? I think the conditions, I think they've got the players, and I think they're a good side. I mean, they've impressed me in the last World Cup. They beat Ecuador 2-1 in their warm-up game. They've got good quality start players in. All most of their players play in the domestic league. They're not playing around Europe, so they're used to this kind of, they're playing in the hot, humid conditions. So I think when it comes down to the two of them, I think Brazil will win the group and Mexico will qualify. So no chance for Cameroon, despite or lack of support for Samuel Eto'o is the problem there? Well, the thing is, Cameroon have always been built on this reputation of everyone they come to world football in 1990, but they're a team that have been on the decline every sort of year since then. Right. They're a very average time. This is the time they come into their very, very poor. So I think they're going to be the whipping boys in this game, in this group. They start off against Mexico, and I think that's a great start for the Mexicans. I can see the Mexicans winning that and just hoping to get in a draw against Croatia. The big game in this group is Mexico against Croatia. I think Brazil will win it, but I'm going for Mexico to go second. OK, so Brazil and Mexico. Let's go on to Group B then. Spain, Holland, Chile and Australia. Spain, not perhaps the force they were 4 years ago, still formidable team, and now with strikers like Negredo and Diego Costa, assuming the horse placenta has worked its wonders. Well, Negredo hasn't had a great season at Manchester City. He started off really well, and then he sort of faded towards the end. And I don't really rate Costa that great. I think he scores a lot of goals, but I'm yet to be sold on him. Out of all the teams at the top on the betting, I think Spain are the ones I want to take on. I don't fancy them for the long term. They're defending champions, obviously, in European championships, but I think they're an ageing team. I think the midfield is all about constant running and moving the ball. Iniesta looks a shadow of his former self. David Silva's a great player, says Fabregas. But I think that these players are now coming towards the end of their career. And I think if you're coming here on a long domestic season, I mean, Valencia and Real Madrid have been involved in, Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid have been involved in some really amount of games, testing games. And I don't think they're going to be fresh. And I think that the odds-on quotes for them to win the group are ridiculous. And I'm even so bold to say I don't think they get out the group. I really think the Spanish are one to take on. Well, let's talk about the others then. Holland, they've lost Kevin Strootman to injury, but they've still got Wesley Sneijder, Robben van Persie, and of course Louis van Gaal as their manager. Are they a threat this time? I think they're a threat. I think they will. I think the game against Spain will be a draw, and I think this is going to come down to who can beat Australia by the most goals. And with that a form that could go out front with the Van Persie and the attacking line that they have, I think they can outscore the Spanish. So that's why I give them my opinion. I think they've got a better chance to make it, but I don't think they win the group either.
Okay, but Chile, they looked pretty good against Germany and England last year. They're playing in South America. Strong bet for an upset with the likes of Alexis Sanchez and Arturo Vidal.
This is the team that I think will win the group. I think they're an absolutely fantastic side and one of my dark horses to go long all the way. They were so impressive in the last World Cup. They played Spain, lost 1-0, but they absolutely battered Spain for long periods of that game. They could come to Wembley. They gave England a football lesson. Vidal is one of the better, well, I think in my opinion, the best midfielder in world football at the moment. This is a great stage for him. Sanchez will score goals. I think the 4-1 on them to win this group is one of the best bets of the World Cup. Again, we got about conditions. They will love the conditions. And I think in a match against Spain, in the heat and humidity, I fancy them strong.
And Australia, the whipping boys.
Well, I don't think Australians always come with a great spirit and a great attitude, but I think they are going to be the whipping boys in this game. And I think whoever comes second will be the team that outscores against in that game against them. And I fancy Holland to do that.
Okay, so final standing. So you think Holland and Chile?
Well, I'm going to put my neck out here. I think Chile will win the group. I really do, and I think they're a great bet at the big prices to go far in the competition. I'm going to go for Holland to come second and Spain to come third. I just think that tick-attack of football has been found out. It's been found out Barcelona this year domestically with what Atletico Madrid did. It found out they were in European football as well, and I think they will be found out on the world stage. I don't think these players have another competition left in them, and in the soaring heat, I think with the movement they do, I just think they're a team to oppose at all costs.
Okay, thanks very much for that. That is it for this episode. My thanks to Nigel Seeley. Do check out our other guides. Tomorrow it's the turn of Group C, a swan song perhaps for Didier Drogba, and Group D, which is of course England's group. I'm Nigel Stevenson. This is Reuters.